Back, everybody, to our crypto catch up. Lots happening. If you watched our last video, we had a look at Ordinals, bit of a long form one for the geeks out there. If you're not a geek, you might want to start taking notice, because what was a little bit difficult to do in the past, having to understand setting up Taproot wallets, etc., to become part of shitcoins on Bitcoin, is looking like it's going to become a lot easier, guys. Binance, surprise, surprise, are really looking to simplify that process, and you're going to be able to buy Ordinals via your Binance account. So I think that's going to open up that market to a lot more people. If you're not up on the play on Ordinals and what's going on there, that to me possibly represents the biggest opportunity coming into this cycle. So really interested to hear your thoughts on this, guys. And maybe we'll start with you, Blue. I think you're well ahead of the pack on this.
Yeah, so Binance, a lot of people still trade on exchanges. They don't go into new projects until it's available on an exchange. And, there's a big market for that. And Binance is filling the demand for the ordinal space, because ordinals are tech heavy. They are broken, half-baked protocols with half-baked applications. It's very messy. You really need to know what you're doing with your wallets and security and best practices when you're playing in the ordinal space. So with Binance simplifying it by creating a buy button on an exchange, I think it's going to drive a lot of demand towards the space, because people always want the easy way, and the easy way is buying from Binance, but you're not going to make money on the easy way. If you really want to get your hands dirty, that's where the opportunity is going to lie. That's where the alpha and the ability to outperform Bitcoin is really going to come from. So you got to get hands-on with the apps. You got to get hands-on with the protocols. You got to play around, toss a few sats in a Taproot wallet and start playing around, because oftentimes, like we've seen many, many times in the past, by the time a token makes it to the exchange, that's the top, and that's when it comes down. So
Very true.
I don't think that's necessarily the case right now, because demand is so low and hype is so low. I don't think that these assets are overvalued. But that being said, I still think that you're going to get a lot more opportunities if you're actually transacting on chain.
Okay, yeah, no, good point. So we are actually going to go through a process with you in the next video to show you how to set that up. I'm actually going to go through and purchase a project called Track, which I think is one we've spoken about a number of times. So we use that as a bit of a use case to show people how to go through that process, a bit more tech heavy. But yeah, really just wanting to flag for everybody that, look, this is coming to Binance. So, that's pretty bit of a mainstream move there. But I think your comment about it being a bit messy at the moment, so it is a buyer beware still at this point for sure.
What is the consensus on utility for these things?
Current utility is degenerate gambling.
Welcome back to crypto.
Utility is not here yet. So basically the best that we have for use cases in ordinals is highlighters of ownership. It's like, hey, I own this, it's in my wallet, here's the verification.
Got it.
What we're needing is basically two things. We need an oracle that is going to feed price data to the Bitcoin blockchain, and that is going to allow for stablecoins. If we have oracle data and we have stablecoins, that's really going to feed into the whole infrastructure that's being built out right now into the lifeblood of DeFi, which is, stablecoins and trade. Right now, it's a lot of infrastructure. It's a lot of protocol design that's creating the backbone for token transfers and token sharings and token pools. But without those other two things, you're not going to have DeFi yet. So you are early. Nothing's really taken off yet. Keep an eye out for these type of Unisat plays, and Uniswap like projects, and these Chainlink like projects, because those are going to be really integral to the whole space taking the next step forwards.
Obviously, we've seen a bit of a pump in prices over the last week. I think Ethereum's up close to 10%, but Bitcoin about 5%. But talking to you offline, Blue, you were saying that really the order book or volumes are still very, very low, which basically means that there's not a lot of people out there buying and selling.
So a lot of people have it in their head that money in equals price go up, but it's not that simple. It's money in consumes sell orders. And the spread, meaning the price difference between all of these orders, in a liquid market, you get larger spreads. When you get a larger spread and you put in some money to chew up those orders, the price moves very, very quickly. When you're in a bull market and everybody's buying crypto and there's a ton of liquidity changing hands, it's much harder to move the price. It requires a lot more effort. Right now, we are in a very low effort environment. So you have to kind of take all of these upwards moves in Bitcoin kind of with a grain of salt, because as we've seen already a few times after these big moves, hey, we're back, it just fully retraces. And it's because, you know, somebody decided to buy it, it moved the books, everybody got excited, but the demand isn't there and it just collapses. So do be careful. Especially with leverage. You know, if I was a betting man, I would say that today's green candle is as a result of shorts getting liquidated and then being settled on the spot markets. So people are getting wrecked.
The pathetic American government also just avoided a government shutdown.
Right.
So yeah, there's always some little boost in the news, but I think everyone agrees we still got a little bit of stumbling to go.
Yeah, there's definitely, in my opinion, some further stumbling ahead. It's a good word. So this is the indicator alphanumetrics. We have a trading bot that will trade Bitcoin for you based off of the parameters in this custom indicator that we have. And currently it is bearish. So when the wave is red, as it currently is, you can see anytime it's red, we're bearish. Anytime it's green, we're bullish. It more often than not represents exactly the market conditions that we're talking about right now, where demand is really, really low. There's just not enough excitement. There's not enough hype. There's not enough money changing hands. So because the market is illiquid, there's not enough demand. We need to assume that lower levels are possible. This will flip to green if we get a break above $31,000. But until that happens, I'm just going to remain bearish and stay true to the path here. I don't need to pay attention to the news. I only need to pay attention to the candlesticks.
Very good. Now, if people do, you give that away for free. So if they do want to check that out, how do they get in touch with you?
Go to blkbox.pro, blackbox.pro, sign up for the free trading bot. It also gains you access to our private Discord server where we are talking about ordinals and market alpha and other altcoin trades.
So Jesse, anything that you've kept an eye on? What have you been up to over the last week?
Everyone knows that I'm a Gala Games fiend, but I had a little bit of a rant in their Discord. Even though it's relatively early days for them, I was a little bit perturbed on the fact that the majority of their games are still kind of in a pay to win phase. And, you know, Gala loves to talk a big one about how, you know, first things first, it's all about having fun playing games. It's, you know, forget about the crypto, forget about the earning. It's about having fun. And yet, you know, their newest game out, which is really beautiful and it is fun, but it's truly a pay to win. If you want to be anywhere near the top of the leaderboards, you need to have capital. And Spider Tanks, it's even, I would say Spider Tanks is actually more fun. It's very playable. But to be anywhere in the top leaderboard near there, you need to be able to buy the right NFTs. A lot of this is becoming more evident to me as I get into this, and I had to say in the Discord, look, I have capital. I could, if I wanted to, pay my way to the top of the leaderboards, but where does that leave the 98% of other people out there that can't do that?
Right.
So I'm wondering, when will the other shoe drop, or when will something happen where it truly is a thing that anyone can join? And I'm not just talking about Gala. I'm talking about any gaming out there, because as we know, gaming is like one of the biggest markets out there, aside from porn, and it might even be bigger. But what good is it if you need to have a lot of money to play to earn? No one's trying to play to earn if they've got millions of dollars. All right. No one's trying to play to earn even if they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the people who need money that want to play to earn. And the fact that they like to game is just a side part. Keep in mind, disclaimer, I'm not saying that I think that Gala or any of these other, growing, successful crypto gaming companies are just trying to take the piss and have people, pay a lot of money. I think it's such early days that part of it is that while building, they do need capital. They do need people to inject money into their economy, and they are still learning and building and growing. So I'm like I say in the Discord, and I'm saying now, I'm not fully complaining, and it's nothing to be completely disappointed about, because I think there's a lot of good to come, but it's frustrating because like I do play and I do get into this stuff, and I do realize that if it's frustrating for me, for someone who has capital, then I can't imagine how frustrating it is for someone who's just able to, inject maybe $50 or $100, and that's all they can for the rest of their month. That's unsustainable for any company, any game. It will fall into the fucking ocean and disappear if they don't make it more feasible for everyone.
Yeah. The biggest problem in play to earn is the underlying currency itself is just inherently unsustainable because of the fact that it's just fake money that the founders use to enrich themselves. So until these game founders get over the fact that they can't just rely on the fact that this is a blockchain game anymore, and they actually need to compete in a competitive market where you're trying to collect sats or you're trying to collect gwei, you're not gonna have a breakthrough game that actually ends up with anything sustainable, in my opinion.
Okay, well, I mean, look, I think we've raised a couple of good points here on the show, and we'll keep it short and sweet. I mean, just to close it out for me on more of a sort of a macro front, I was with some pretty senior people from a company called Franklin Templeton. It's a very large asset management firm. They've also applied for a Bitcoin ETF, but their CEO's commenting this morning that they are big believers in the tokenization of securities and are looking at this. So, this is not something new to the crypto space. If you remember, Rihanna did it with a song, the NFL halftime show, I think. So effectively, it's you can own a share of that song when it's played on Spotify. You can use a smart contract to track where it's played, when, and get a payment from that. So, there is real innovation happening in the space. I think that last cycle, this is nothing new, but it just kind of feels like the last cycle was an experiment. It's all fallen flat on its face. But, when you've got the CEO of one of the biggest asset managers in the world talking this game again now, I think this cycle we really are going to see proper application of what was hype last time. So I think all in all, disappointing to see that, you're not so pleased with the tokenomics of Gala. We're going to follow the gaming space closely, but
it's not the tokenomics like Blue
sorry,
said.
Not the tokenomics, just the simple fact that they're making you spend money to do well. So that ain't tokenomics. That's just bullshit.
It's great.
Yeah. So interesting things happening in crypto again. So stick with us. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Cheers, boys. Good to see we all showed up in the uniform today.
Yeah. I didn't notice that till just now.
Men in Black.
Have a great day, everybody. And we'll see you back here soon. And links below if you want to check out Blue's indicator. See you all soon.
Bye-bye.